What is up, guys? 23Helter here, and if you follow my Instagram, which, you all should, because I post the best stuff. Not really, it's kind of shit, but who cares? If you were to follow me there, you would have seen that I posted a picture saying that I was lucky enough to get an interview with YouTuber RagReynolds. And I must say, guys, this interview was a roller coaster. I have heard his side of the story, and now, well, I can pretty much say that I am convinced that Australia does not exist. I mean, the evidence is just rock solid, as you will later see. But before we start all this, let's do the classic YouTuber stuff. Please subscribe down below for all the beautiful videos that comes onto this channel. Click the notification bell if I have one. If you don't, who cares? Comment what you'd like to see next. Leave a like on the video. And is sharing still a thing? I don't think it is. Anyway, who cares? Enjoy the video.
Obviously, I've made that very clear in the past that Australia is most certainly not a real place. I think it's a ridiculous concept. It's ridiculous that anyone would even think of it being a real place. The general idea is, for a long time, I was worked up about the existence of Australia. When I was younger, I would hear people speaking, and I thought, that must be the worst accent I've ever heard in my life. The only accent I think's worse than an Australian accent is a South African accent. So I thought, okay, there's got to be a reason behind this. And I hear, okay, bad accents. It's a place with all these terrible spiders and terrible wildlife, crazy things that are going to kill you. The heat, I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. A continent that is also a country? What are you talking about? Anyway, I decided that it would make a lot of sense if it just wasn't a real place. The more I looked into it, the more I discovered that I was onto something. I discovered that what had actually happened was that years and years ago, there was a guy in New Zealand, one of the top authorities in New Zealand. And it was when the world was just coming to a point where they were opening up communication with the rest of the world and establishing trade and all this other stuff. And he thought, damn, oh no, everyone's going to hate us. They're going to think New Zealand's the worst place in the world. So we need to create somewhere that is worse than New Zealand. So what they did was they took the lowest IQ individuals from New Zealand and they quarantined them in a specific large area, a large city of New Zealand. They drugged them, they brainwashed them, and they were indoctrinated. And over years and years, a long time, there became hundreds and thousands of people born in this area who were drugged and brainwashed from birth, who believe that they are living in this fake place called Australia, when really they are just in a city in New Zealand. I think they're all dummies. I mean, every single day, I get many messages. I mean, I don't get as many now as I was getting a couple of months back, but there was a point a couple of months back where I was getting messages from 100 new people every single day, and that's not including the people who've been messaging me before. And that's just on Instagram. And then I've got Twitter, I've got my YouTube comments, I've got thousands and thousands of these people coming on and screeching and screaming. Like, I can understand, okay, you disagree with me, you think you live there, okay, but why does that give anyone an excuse? Why would anyone think, okay, this person said my country's not real, let's go on and tell him how stupid he is and threaten his life and give him death threats? I mean, I don't see where that comes from. I don't see why people are so upset. I mean, people say to me all the time, how would you like it if I said Scotland wasn't real? Because I'm in Scotland, and I have the exact same answer for every single one of these people. I say, I wouldn't care, because I'm not a little bitch. If someone says your country isn't real and your response is, oh, wow, you're a meanie, then yeah, you're just a crybaby, and I don't have any respect for you at all. Isaac Butterfield. Next question. Right. Do me a favor. Anyone listening to this, do me a favor right now and open up Google Maps or Google Earth on your computer, okay? Open up Google Maps, Google Earth, whatever, and zoom right out and look in the Earth. That image is clearly not a real image of the Earth. It is computer generated. It is not a picture that you're rotating around. That is a computer generated image of the Earth. And it looks quite realistic, but that is a fact. It is a computer generated image. Now, I know we've been to space. I know we have real pictures of the Earth. I'm not a flat earther. As people try and say I'm a flat earther, but I'm not. I know the Earth is not flat. It's a ridiculous concept to say that it's flat. It is completely round. Regardless, the Google Maps and the Google Earth and most of these pictures that you've seen are not real. Most of the ones you've seen are not real. And the ones that have Australia in them, that's edited in there. I mean, have you seen the things people can do with photo manipulation software? Well, I've made a few conspiracy videos on my YouTube channel about different conspiracies, and for the most part, I don't believe in any of them. I mean, I believe we did go to the moon. I don't necessarily believe that 9/11 was an inside job. I don't think that there's these chemtrails in the sky. I don't think there's all these mass shooting cover-ups or anything like that. For the most part, I don't agree with conspiracy theories. I really don't. It is just this one particular thing about Australia not being a real place. Everything else, I can't think of one that I agree with. Only this particular thing. Because I think most of it is just tinfoil nonsense, and it's idiots who believe these things. And people love to try and misrepresent what I'm saying all the time. They love to just cherry pick little things, or they think, oh, well, flat earthers believe Australia is not real. You must be a flat earther. When, in fact, I have said in numerous videos, I am no flat earther. I do not believe the earth is flat, yet people continue to brand me a flat earther because people are disingenuous. People do not care about the truth. They only care about what they want to believe, and they want to slander me. Well, yeah, as I was saying earlier, I started off and I was a bit confused about Australia. I didn't think it wasn't fake, it was fake at first, but eventually I came to the conclusion that it wasn't real, and that was after I saw a tweet on Twitter, and it was someone jokingly, I think, saying, "Oh, Australia's not a real place." And I started thinking, I'm like, okay, that makes a bit of sense. So I started doing a little bit of research, and I did find other people who were talking about this. I found a lot of people talking about, oh, it's just a hologram, or I found people saying, oh, they're all actors. I don't think any of these things are very plausible theories. I mean, if someone was an actor, then the government would have run out of money a long time ago, and I highly doubt these people would be able to keep quiet, considering how many of them there would be. But I get people all the time in my comments who said, where's my money? And I'm like, I never called you an actor. I've never called anyone an actor, yet people specifically say to me, why did you call me an actor? And I'm like, I've never called anyone an actor, but they think because they've seen one theory somewhere else that that must be what I said. But that's not what I said at all. And I get people like that every single day saying, where's my money? I'm not an actor. I'm like, I never called you one. You're an idiot. Actually listen to what I'm saying. It really annoys me when I've answered a question across. I've got 30 videos on this topic. I've got multiple chapters in my second published book about this as well. Yet people ask me the same questions that I've answered time and time again. And they just, oh, it really, really bugs me. Okay, well, they're not. They're not New Zealand actors. They are people who actually live in a place in New Zealand. They live in a specific city. I mean, you can go to countries all over the world. I mean, I'm in Scotland, and my accent is very, very different from someone who lives in a different city of Scotland. I mean, people who live in Glasgow sound completely different from people who live in the Highlands, completely different from people who live a bit down south. You can go to England and you get the same thing. You go to America and you get people in different states with different accents. So I think it makes perfect sense that you have this Australian accent that would be the people in this specific city, and it's different from people who are in other parts of New Zealand, and that would explain that. I think that's a reasonable explanation. I mean, you'd have to tell me the exact country. Like you just suggested Madagascar. I don't really know much about it. I mean, that was a movie, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not sure about that. I mean, that straight away alarm bells are going off. I mean, why? How can it be a country? It was a movie. It doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, someone asked me once about the Amazon. I was doing a live debate on my YouTube, and they said to me, there was this girl, and I said, "How can Australia be a real place with all this horrible wildlife? You wouldn't get that sort of thing anywhere else." And she said, "Have you ever heard of the Amazon?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What does the website Amazon.com have anything to do with this?" And then apparently she tells me a rainforest called the Amazon. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that was a thing." And she said, "You obviously didn't take geography." And I said, "Actually, I'm great at geography. I know all about rocks and stuff." So I don't know what she was talking about. I have a series on my channel on YouTube, and I investigate other countries. Out of all the countries I've investigated, the only one I've been a bit skeptical of was Canada, and specifically because of this whole bagged milk fiasco, and I thought that was really strange. I wasn't convinced 100%, though. I also had a feeling that parts of England may not be real, but there's no real evidence to suggest that. So I'm going to say no. There's nowhere else I specifically don't think exists. I mean, I'm going to stick at 100% Australia doesn't, but there could be other places. I'm just not willing to say for sure that that is the case. Well, as I've explained, it was entirely to do with the founders of New Zealand, the people who were running New Zealand in the first place, and when they discovered that there's actually other places in the world, not just New Zealand, they're like, "Oh shit! Can I swear? Is that fine?" They were like, "Oh shit! New Zealand, we've got a terrible place. Our place where we're living is not very good at this point in time. I mean, I'm sure it's much better now, but back then it was not a very good place to live, I would think." And they decided we need somewhere that is worse than us. So they created a place worse than the place they lived in, so that no one thought they were the worst place. I mean, it's not as big of a deal if you're the second worst place. Just you don't want to be the worst place. Well, I've had this question before. I've not really answered this one that much. I've only talked about this once, I think. Kangaroos, for example, are robots. I have supplied video evidence of robotic kangaroos. So yeah, kangaroos are 100% robots. So that's how I could answer that. I couldn't tell you specifically about the other animals. I'd imagine maybe some sort of strange genetics modifications and stuff. I don't know. I don't have all the answers for every single thing to do with this. But kangaroos for sure are robots. I mean, have you seen how they pounce? I mean, that's clearly loaded up on springs. I mean, you should definitely be acknowledging it as a thing. Like, we shouldn't just say, "What are you talking about?" Like, we should acknowledge that mythical thing exists, kind of like Narnia. I mean, you say, "Oh, everyone knows what Narnia is." It's from that line, "The Witch in the Wardrobe" thing. Everyone knows about Narnia or Middle Earth. Everyone knows about these fictional places, and that's how we should refer to Australia. We shouldn't refer to it as a real place. We should refer to it as a fictional place, and I think it would make for a lot of good movies. Well, definitely not. I mean, what do you really want your kids to be taught lies? I mean, would you like it if your kid was going to geography class and they came home that day like, "Mum, and 2 years from now when we go on holiday, can we go to Narnia?" That's ridiculous. I mean, probably, yeah. I mean, as I said, I've got an ongoing series where I do investigate other countries. There have got maybe 5 or 6 already. I've done one on Scotland. I've done one on England. I've done one on Canada. I've done them on a few different places already. So I'm sure I will do more on those. And I do have 30 videos on Australia specifically, and I'm sure there will be more added to that as time goes on. I will never have a final thing to say. I've always got everything to say, so no, I do not have a final thing to say.